Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. It has been a while. I was looking at my catalog and I realized, wow, I haven't uploaded anything. I haven't gone live since the ReliaQuest Bowl, since Michigan defeated Alabama in the ReliaQuest Bowl. That was December 31st, 2024. So, but that's just a testament to how busy. Well, it's a testament to what my life has been like since the ReliaQuest Bowl. I traveled some more just after the new year, and then I am a public servant. And with the change in administration, our schedules changed, our lifestyles changed, and I just haven't been able to invest time resources in this channel. But I'm off today. We just started March Madness, well, the NCAA tournament. So I thought I'd come on and do something quick and start feeding this channel again some more. John Stoops, thank you for stopping through. Thank you for being here. All right. So I just want to see YouTube on my side. Okay. Let me see if my computer is going to work with me. Okay, there we are. The computer has been a little finicky as of late. And make no mistake about it, I am due for an upgrade in my technology. Okay. Okay, we're going to go there. Close that. So we're using fewer resources. John Stoops, how are you doing today? Whoever else is out there watching me, how are you guys doing today? Yeah, I've been off the grid a little bit with the I'm a public servant, a public employee. So I've been readjusting over the last month and a half. What are your thoughts about this year's football team? That's a good question, John Stoops. I was going to get to that, starting with the quarterback position. I think of what I was thinking about Bryce Underwood earlier. Okay, my computer's doing whatever it's doing. John Stoops, can you hear me? Okay, I'm moving just fine now. Okay, John Stoops says yes. Thank you, John Stoops. Okay, so I was thinking about Bryce Underwood earlier this week and his comments to LeBron James and his interview on Rich Eisen. And I think a big thing is going to be how long will it be before he ascends to QB1? I know we have what's the kid's name? Mikey Keene, the kid from Fresno. He's transferred in. So one thought process is that you let Bryce learn a little bit and then you put him in, or you throw him in right away. But that kid sounds like he's ready to go. And it sounds like he had the balls and the moxie to tell LeBron James, "Hey, we're gonna continue to own Ohio State, so just get ready for it." And you know who that reminded me of? I mean, and you don't. I'm kind of modest myself, so I don't. I prefer to let my play or whatever do the talking. But that reminded me of JJ. JJ, after that 2021 season, he said, all we know is beating Ohio State. So we plan to keep doing it. So if you have a confident quarterback, a phenom like Bryce, then maybe that's a good thing. So I have his measurables lined up here, queued up here. I was going to get to that at the end, but I think if the kid stays healthy and he stays upright, and Sharon and the staff can build a team around him, then it's going to be a good couple of years for us, however long he stays. I mean, I think most kids want to stay 3 years and then jump to the NFL, but you can't plan for injuries. You can't plan for anything. So however long he stays, I think it's going to be a fun ride for us. Okay. I'm going to play the intro, and then I'm going to jump in. I'm going to talk about last night's game a little bit, and then say some things about the football team, and then I'm going to wrap up. This is just a short one to get myself back into some sort of rhythm here. Okay. And then, okay, I'll talk about that later. I'll see you on the other side of the intro. Let's go blue. Let's do that again. My computer's doing it's doing something. So let's start that over. That was not the beginning of the song. All right, let's go blue. All right, John Stoops, I appreciate your comments. I meant to do this at 10 a.m., but got up later after a long week of going into the office, and here we are at lunchtime. John Stoops says, I feel Bryce should get the start from day one with the backs Michigan has and the O-line. I think he'd be fine. Yeah, clearly, I mean, okay. Mikey Keene is not a tall kid. Bryce has all of the measurables that you want. He's taller than JJ. He's probably bigger and stronger. I have his measurables queued up here. But yeah, if he can do it and start getting his reps and start getting used to the speed of college football, and if he can start to make his mistakes early, because there are probably going to be some mistakes, then yeah, let's get him in there right away, and let's keep beating Ohio State, and let's have a competent passing game, which we didn't have in the 2024 season. That was team 145. Okay, before I jump in, guys, a few housekeeping things here. So however much longer I do this, because I've been thinking, how much longer will I be a YouTube sports content creator? I don't have an answer right now, though. I will hang on as long as Bryce. I'll make a decision once Bryce's career is up. So I'll hang out for another couple of years doing this. My whole intent was to sell books. I wrote a sports related book, which I'll talk about at the end of the stream. But going forward, a big change I'm going to make here is I'm not going to ask for donations. If you guys want to donate via the super chat, then so be it. But I'm not going forward. I'm not going to say, hey, please donate to the channel. I'm not going to do that here. It's a different crowd here, so I'm not going to do that. But you can see my ticker. I did publish my book at the end of December, at the end of the year. So I will be pushing that because it's a sports related book, but I will do it. I promise to do it after I talk about the business at hand here. John, also, thank you for letting me know that it's just a bit of a lag when you are a content creator. You want all of your systems to move smoothly. With the technology, we know that doesn't always happen. All right, so let's jump into it. A little bit of March Madness, then some words about the football program, and then I'll wrap up because the games are about to start right now. Okay, so last night, the Michigan Wolverines defeated the UC San Diego. What are these guys called? The Tridents. They have the Neptune Spear. That was the UC San Diego mascot, and they were having some fun with that. Candace Parker, Jay Wright, and I think Seth Davis. They were having fun with that in the pregame analyses. So Michigan defeated UC San Diego. The Tritons. That's what they're called. The Tritons. Okay. So they defeated the Tritons 68-65. Okay. Steve Dace over at the Michigan podcast, he predicted that Michigan would not win their first game. Okay. So typically the 5-12 game is a pairing that's historically ripe for an upset. Okay. So the fifth team, usually, well, it doesn't always, but the fifth team historically is susceptible to a loss from the 12th seeded team for whatever reason. And the game started out that way. It looked like Michigan was going to run away with it, but UC San Diego hung in there. And as the telestrators and the commentators said, Michigan has to be mindful of its turnovers. And then, lo and behold, once they established that lead, they started turning the ball over. It wasn't Trey Donaldson. I don't think it was some of the other guys, but they just started turning the ball over, and that opened up the door for UC San Diego to come back. And so in that second half, down the stretch, the game got close. UC San Diego hit a go-ahead three-pointer partway through that second half, but Trey Donaldson, that kid is a gamer, and I'm going to make an admission here, guys. I'm going to make an admission here. Maize and Blue Mike, thank you for stopping through. He says, go Blue. Haven't seen you in a while, but I haven't been here in a while, so that would explain that. I'm going to make an admission here. Last night was my first time seeing the Wolverines play a full game this season, just because I've been that busy and just because, I didn't have high expectations with this being Dusty May's first year. But that Trey Donaldson kid, he's a gamer. He hit that game winner. I think it was against Maryland in the lane in the semifinal game. And when UC San Diego hit that go-ahead three-pointer, that would have shifted the momentum for a lot of other teams. Okay, that would have been a backbreaker. But Trey Donaldson came right back down and hit another three-pointer himself and put Michigan back in front, and they never looked back. But what contributed to UC San Diego coming back was the turnovers, and then Danny Wolf. That kid was missing from the free throw line. And he's a good player. But when you have a team trying to claw its way back into the game, you've got to hit your free throws, and you've got to maintain that lead and hit your free throws. But I think Michigan, from a talent perspective and from an athleticism perspective, I think Michigan just had too much, especially with the 2 7-footers there in the front court. I'm going to read some of your comments here. Let's see. John Stoop says, close game due to the team still turning the ball over too much. And yes, Steve picked Michigan to lose. LOL. Yeah, Steve, he could be a real Debbie Downer at sometimes. I think he likes being a pessimist and a Debbie Downer. John Stoop says, I listened to Steve's sidekick picks, and I've only lost one game. Mason Blue Mike says, "Go Blue needs to hold on to leads." Yeah, so it turns out, we're gonna take a quick look at this. Michigan State is in the same bracket. Michigan State is the 2 seed, so there could be a regional final matchup, a Wolverine State Great Lakes regional final matchup in the South region. But if Michigan turns the ball over like that in the next round, or if they get to the Sweet 16, they're gonna lose, because you can't do that against higher tier teams. Okay, let me go back. We'll take a quick look at the stats. Let's see. Where was I? Oh, there it is. And I appreciate you guys being here on your lunch break if you are working. Okay, so yeah, so Michigan won 68-65. They won the first half. UC San Diego won that second half, but Michigan, they did enough in that second half to win the game by 3 points. Danny Wolf scored 9 points. I thought the way he started the game, he was gonna score more, but he slowed down as the game went on. Vladislav Golden, he was Michigan's leading scorer with 14 points. Trey Donaldson, like I said, he hit that big go-ahead three-pointer to retrieve the lead. He scored 12 points. And Roddy Gale Jr. scored 11 points. Roddy Gale Jr., for those of you who don't know, Roddy Gale Jr. is a Western New Yorker just like me. So Roddy Gale Jr. is from Niagara Falls. His dad played for one of the most successful programs in Western New York, LaSalle Senior High School, which is closed. I'm going to talk about that briefly at the end of the stream. But Roddy Gale Jr. had a big game for the Wolverines with his 11 points. He's a versatile player, hit some big free throws, and he hit some big shots for the Wolverines. Okay, so next up for the Wolverines, I believe it's Texas A&M, because Texas A&M knocked off Yale. Okay, so Michigan has Texas A&M next, and they have that one big guy. We have 2. So yeah, that should be an interesting game to watch tomorrow. So I'm going to close that. Okay, let's take a quick look at the bracket, and then we'll move on and talk some football before I wrap this up. Yeah, shout out to Johnny Olden and everybody else, Steve Dace. I haven't been active here, but I've been watching other people's content. So this is a bracket from ncaa.com. So yeah, so Michigan has Texas A&M next. Let me make sure you guys can see that. Yep, you guys can see that. Michigan has Texas A&M next. Okay, the 1 seed is Auburn. Michigan State plays today. They have Bryant. Michigan State is the number 2 seeded team in the South region. I'm just going to go over this briefly. Let's see. In the West region, Florida is number 1. It looks like Duke is number 11. Shout out to my best friend, the G-Dog in Arizona. That's Drake. That's Drake. I'm sorry. In the East region, Duke is number 1. So shout out to my best friend, the G-Dog, out in Arizona. He is a Duke fan. And in the Midwest region, it looks like Houston is the number 1 seed out in the Midwest region. Okay, so Michigan has Texas A&M next. Let's see what they do. Big thing for Michigan. The big thing for Michigan is ball security. If they keep turning that ball over like they did, they're not going to get past the second round. Coach Antoine is here. What's going on, Coach Antoine? All right. Always a pleasure. Coach Antoine, I'm going to end this live stream with a brief talk about Bryce Underwood. But as I go through my preseason coverage for Team 146 and the Maize and Blue game. I'm going to talk about Bryce some more. But Coach Antoine, what are you were pretty bullish last offseason about the read option for Alex Orji and us needing to do that. What are your predictions for what to do with Bryce Underwood in the offense for this next year? What are your predictions? Sheed, thank you for stopping through. Sheed, every time you go live now, I'm on the Metro going to work. So I want to tune in, but I'm on the Metro going to work, so I can't hear what you're saying. So, but thank you for stopping through, and thank you for the next time I've got you. The next time we meet up, it's my treat. Okay, all right. So Michigan football. Thank you for stopping through, John Stoops. I'm not gonna be on much longer. All right. Okay. Coach Antoine says yes. RPO his ass. We had a stupid coaching staff that didn't know how to utilize our team. Okay, so you would do more RPO with Bryce Underwood, though he can throw it too. So he will truly be a dual threat for us. But okay, so let me close this. Okay, so Coach Antoine, last night, Buckeye Alex sent me this present. Okay, Buckeye Alex is always keeping up, even though he's a Buckeye fan, just like the other Buckeye fans. Buckeye Alex is always keeping up on Michigan news and scandals. And Buckeye Alex sent me this. Of course, my smartphone sent me this as well. So I don't want to bring this in with some bad news, but it's just something for us to keep our collective eyes on. I'm not going to read this verbatim, but the headline says, the United States Department of Justice indicts former Michigan offensive coordinator Matt Weiss. Okay. So okay. Well, there was a picture of Matt Weiss in here. It must have just been the thumbnail. But this goes back to the whole computer hacking thing. Okay. So I don't know what this is going to turn into, if it's going to turn into anything, but Buckeye Alex said, hey, look at this last night. So it looks like Matt Weiss is going to be indicted. And of course, in this article, they brought up Connor Stallions and all of those things. So just something to be aware of. Let me know if you guys hear anything about this in your neck of the woods. So let's close that out. All right. So come on, Chrome, close that out. Okay. So the Maize and Blue game, the spring game. Okay, so Maize and Blue. Okay, so let me read Coach Antoine. What he has to say here. Okay, so Maize and Blue Mike says, I think Bryce will start day one versus New Mexico. The kid certainly has the confidence. He's, at least verbally, he's very, very confident about his abilities early on. Antoine says that's what makes the RPO even more dangerous. Antoine says, once people get stuck on trying to stop us from running it like that, that's when you hit them over the top. Yeah, he's a tall kid. We shouldn't see much of a drop off from the running game. I think Ben Hall's gonna be the number one ball carrier this season. I have to look at the position groups and the depth chart. But yeah, I think as with any offense, the offensive line play is going to be critical. I have to look and see how many pieces are coming back from the previous season because the offensive line started playing better towards the end of last season. Mason Blue Mike says Michigan did their due diligence in the Weiss case. All right. So the Maize and Blue game, also known as the spring game, is taking place on April 19th. Okay, so I'm not going to be at this one. I will be watching remotely from somewhere and taking notes. Last year when I went, I was in the stadium. It was cold. And I ended up spending more time trying to stay warm than actually taking notes and doing a nice analysis on everything. But that's going to be, that Maize and Blue game is going to be our first look at Bryce Underwood in the Michigan offense. Okay, and we have our new offensive coordinator, Chip Lindsey, I believe. So it's going to be a complete refresh on that side of the ball. But that's going to, I think a lot of us will be tuning in to see what he looks like there. The spring game, it's it's a little deceptive because your offensive line hasn't had time to gel. It's a scrimmage, and they usually use a draft format. So many of the players, like on the offensive line, aren't used to playing together. So, but I think, yeah, this will be our first chance to really see what Bryce Underwood could do. And last year at the spring game, I think that's when Davis Warren, well, to some degree, caught the eyes of our coaching staff and everybody else when he threw that deep ball to Fred Moore, and that's when people started. Saying, you know what, hey, maybe we should give the starting job to Davis Warren instead of Alex Orji. So we'll see. But Bryce Underwood's going to be the big ticket item for that day. Antoine says, come on, Doc, bring your butt up here. No, I have some other business I'm taking care of that day, Antoine, which I'm going to talk about at the end of the stream. And Maize and Blue Mike says no Fox coverage. Okay, so they're not going to put it on Fox this year. Well, hopefully they'll put it somewhere where I can watch it in my mother's warm home up in Buffalo. All right, so since we have the schedule up, let's take a quick look at the schedule. So the Maize and Blue game is on April 19th. Michigan opens on August 30th against New Mexico, hosting New Mexico. Michigan Michigan goes to Norman, Oklahoma to play the Oklahoma Sooners. Okay, that's going to be a big game. They're playing one of the big boys early on. Okay, Maize and Blue Mike says the spring game will be on the Big Ten Network. Thank you, Maize and Blue Mike. All right. The Wolverines are traveling to play the Oklahoma Sooners. The Wolverines host Central Michigan the next week. The Michigans go out to Lincoln, Nebraska to play Nebraska. You know what? I've never been to Nebraska, so maybe I'll try to travel for that one. Maybe I'll try to go to that game. There are a lot of places in the middle of the country that I would like to go to that I haven't been to. The Wolverines host the Wisconsin Badgers. That's going to promise to be a physical game. The Wolverines are going out to play USC. We hosted them last year. Okay. Maybe I'll go to that game as well, because that's or maybe I'll go there instead of Nebraska, since that's out west. The Wolverines are hosting the Washington Huskies, a rematch of the previous year's national title game, at least when we won it. The Wolverines are going back up to Spartan Stadium to play Michigan State. The Wolverines then host the Boilermakers from Purdue. They go out to Evanston, Illinois to play the Northwestern Wildcats. They're coming here to College Park, Maryland. So assuming I'm still here, I will be going to that game. Okay. And the Wolverines host the Ohio State Buckeyes for the annual classic, which at this point, does the annual classic still matter? Do Ohio State fans care about the big game? Or does everybody just care about the playoff now? I don't know. But that's a run through of our schedule. I know we still care about the game. I know we still want to whip them and beat them every year now that it's a series and a rivalry again. But they claim they don't care anymore. Okay. So Bryce Underwood. So the kid, and I'm going to wrap up with this, the kid is confident in a very J.J. McCarthy-esque way. And as I described to John Stoops as I was walking around my job at lunchtime this week and thinking about his comments to LeBron James. I like it. I like the confidence. You want to see him back it up, but that very much reminded me of JJ McCarthy. So let's take a quick look at Bryce's measurables. And as the offseason goes on through, spring camp and the Maize and Blue game, and then over the summer, I will be watching some of his high school footage to see what all he can do, or what all he has done, what had people salivating over him. Because I have to be honest, I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch a lot of his tape. But let's see, Bryce Underwood present. Okay. So he's going to wear number 19 his first season. 6'4". He's 6'4". And he was 208 pounds. He told Rich Eisen that he's put on some weight. So the kid's been in the weight room. So he's a tall kid. He's a strong kid. He's from, Belleville High School. And he's a native Detroiter. So he knows the Michigan tradition. He knows the history. He knows the program. So, yeah, everybody is expecting great things from this kid. And I think the big thing in sports, it's staying healthy. All right. And no one can predict that. No one can predict a knee or an ankle or, an injury like the one that Zach Zinter suffered in the 2023 Ohio State game. No one can predict those things. But if this kid stays healthy and the key players around him stay healthy, I don't see why we can't blow the doors off most every other team. So let's see. First question is, can he win the starting job for the New Mexico game? But certainly this will bode well for us. And I think it's worth noting that for all of his experience, for having played at Michigan, for having played in the NFL, having coached at San Diego and Stanford and the San Francisco 49ers, Coach Harbaugh didn't have his best years. Now, some of the Ohio State trolls might come in here, but Coach Harbaugh didn't have his best years consistently until he got JJ McCarthy in. Okay. And JJ McCarthy certainly was a game changer for our program. He had the ability, he had the confidence, he had the focus. Yeah, and you match that up with the Harbaugh philosophy of running the ball. And, you saw what happened. Antoine says, Ohio State been desperately trying to get us to recognize them. They know their trophy don't look as good as ours. 15-0. That's right. That's got to be a thorn in their side. Even though they won the whole thing and they're happy about it, that's got to be a thorn in their side. The fact that they lost to us. Okay. They didn't go undefeated. Okay. But I'll just leave that there. Antoine says Michigan's defensive rotation will be deep. We should be able to rotate people in like a hockey line. Well, that's the other thing, Antoine, is we lost both Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant. Will we still be able to generate a pass rush with our front four? Okay, I think that's gonna tell us a lot about how this season is going to go. Now that we have a quarterback, will we still be able to play good defense, great defense? Okay, because defense wins championships, and no matter how good your quarterback is, you still want to be able to slow the other team down. You still want to be able to slow the other team's offense down, and in some instances, completely shut them down. All right. So guys, that's all I've got. I just wanted to come on and do a quick stream. I haven't been up in a while, and there have been a lot of changes personally and work-wise that have precluded me creating some content here. But I'm coming off the holiday season as well, so I plan to get this content in and get these streams in and get preseason football content in going forward. So look for me more. Let's see. Antoine says, yes. Did you see what we did to Alabama? You forgot already. Antoine, you know what? That's a good point. That's a good point. We didn't have Kenneth Grant or Mason against Alabama. That's a good point. Thank you for pointing that out, Antoine. All right. So everybody, I'm going to wrap this stream up. And as I said at the beginning, one thing I am going to change is that I'm not going to ask for, donations to the channel. You see the ticker going. What I am going to do is at the end of my content, once I talk about the matter of the day, I will advertise my book. It's a sports related book. Dennis Fithian has a copy. John Bacon has a copy. And this was my whole purpose for coming to YouTube. But very, very briefly before I wrap up, you guys keep letting me know what you think there. Tim Lenke? I know sometimes, it's Lenke. I thought that was a J. Tim Lenke, thank you for being here. Everybody, I will ask for likes. Please smash that like button. And also, please consider subscribing to the channel. Shout out to Bo Lytle. Respect is earned. You subscribe if you see fit and if you want to. But everybody, this is my book, The Engineers of Western New York Basketball Story, Part 1, Innocent Basketball Dreams. It's a sports-related story about what sports teach you about life and the adult world. He says Leneke. Okay, Leneke. Thank you for that. Thank you. For my viewers and subs here, if you want to purchase a copy of this, the hardcover, I'm selling the hardcover here out of my unit for $25 and the paperback for $22. This is on Amazon. On Amazon, this is $35. On Amazon, the paperback is $27. So I'm discounting those, and plus I'll be signing them. And the one caveat, and you have to use one of these payment options here. The one caveat is you should send me your mailing information so I'll know where to send the book. Al, I'm going to read your comment in a second. So make sure you send me your mailing information with your payment if you are interested, and you guys are under no obligation to buy it. But what do sports teach you about life? Well, let's look at Jaden Davis. Jaden Davis came into the Michigan locker room thinking he would eventually be the guy. Okay. Thinking he would eventually be QB1 one day. He did not ascend up so quickly. And now you have this other phenom coming in. So Jaden Davis will probably transfer at some point. He's a young guy. And only one kid can play the quarterback position for a sustained period of time, unless you're going to do the Tim Tebow, Chris Leak thing. So, but that's life. You have to battle for your position, and there may be someone younger and more talented coming in, and they may leap over you. And for all intents and purposes, Bryce Underwood has leapt over Jaden Davis, unless somehow Jaden Davis, there's a miracle, and Jaden Davis fixes that throwing motion, and Jaden Davis outplays Bryce Underwood. But for all intents and purposes, it's probably Bryce Underwood's job to lose at this point. One other quick thing, if you're interested in getting a copy of my book, and you want to reach out to me, I'm on X. I'm going to read your comments in a second. I'm on X, Instagram. You can use that second email address there. Actually, you know what? All the information is below in the description box. This information here in the ticker, plus an email address in case you want to purchase a copy. Your last comments, then I'll wrap up. Oh, geez, Al. You're an Ohio State guy. I didn't read it. So Tim is here. Leneke, Al Rudiger. Or is that Rudiger from the movie Rudy with Sean Astin and Charles S. Dutton? He says just a dirty program from top to bottom. So this is an Ohio State troll or a Michigan State troll. And Tim says top tier program from top to bottom. Coach Antoine says this had nothing to do with the program, dummy. This was a dishonest person that was involved with identity theft, goofy. And Tim concurs with Antoine and says, that's right, AJ. And I concur with Antoine as well. But there will be more going forward. There will be more mudslinging from Ohio State fan and probably Michigan State fan, with more talk of vacating our wins and vacating our Big Ten title and our national title. So there will be more of this going forward. So let's get used to it, but also have fun with it as well. All right, everyone. I forgot to show Bo. Bo's sitting here next to me. He's been sitting next to me the entire stream. So, all right, everyone. I'm going to have some other things to do here. I'm going to watch some basketball. So I will see you all again soon. And I'm going to try to jump up on Johnny Olden's live streams some of these Sundays. He has a whole panel and a call-in show. I need to get over there and get into the discussion myself. But yeah, Coach Antoine says Ohio State people need help. So I guess whenever someone from Ohio State says something that means the program is dirty, was Ohio State dirty from top to bottom when Tressel was illegally playing ineligible players? That's right. Ohio State doesn't have a squeaky clean record either. And yet the Ohio State fans, they are a bit of a motley crew. They were talking about that on Johnny Olden's channel. I think the Maniac, I think that's what he calls himself. He was going on about how, Ohio State fans in their live streams, they block people, they boo people out. They don't want to hear anyone that doesn't agree with them. So they are an interesting group. All right, everyone. I got to go. I just wanted to do a check-in. And I will talk to you again soon. Please like, share, and subscribe. Go Blue. And as always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Take care, and I will talk to you the next time. One other thing, I said this in the beginning, going back to my book and the Michigan basketball team, Roddy Gale Jr., his father, Roddy Gale Sr., played for the LaSalle Explorers, which was one of the top programs in Western New York. And I talk about that team quite a bit. I keep knocking Bo over. I talk about that team quite a bit in my book project. So I have somewhat of a connection between, I hit Bo again. In terms of region, I have a bit of a connection with Roddy Gale Jr. I never met the young man. I don't know his father personally, but I know about that basketball program, and that was one of the more prominent and successful basketball programs in our area, Western New York, and that's in my book. Thank you, Tim. Thank you for coming through, and I hope that I will see you again. And before I go, I might as well tell this story to Bo. For those of you who don't know the connection between Bo Schembechler and Michigan basketball's 1989 national title, Bo Schembechler fired Bill Frieder towards the end of that season because Bill Frieder was interviewing at Arizona State. That elevated Steve Fisher to the job, and he led Glenn Rice and Ramil Robinson and Terry Mills and Loy Vaught to the national title that season. So that's a little bit of Michigan history there from Coach Schembechler. All right, everyone, go Blue. As always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Always try to do your best. Take care, and I will talk to you the next time. Bye-bye. Go Blue.